Alright, so I'm finally making my Amalekite video. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to make it for like a month now. I've decided to make it after I was finished. Decided to make it after I finished the book of Samuel for a certain reason. But so I'm gonna make my Amalekite video. If you guys don't remember who the Amalekites were, they were this group of people that God told Saul, the first king, to kill. He told them to kill their kids, all of them, to kill their animals, to get rid of their idols, to blot them out from this earth. He was so strict about this certain type of people. He wasn't even that, like, for some reason, I'm going to get into the reasons now, but for some reason, God was very strict about making sure this group of people were completely blotted out from the history, okay? That's why he told Samuel to kill all of them, any trace of them. He told them to kill the women, the men, the kids, and the animals. And I know that sounds strict, but I'm going to get into why God was so strict about it. I know, whoa, God, why are you so strict? I'm going to get into it. Okay, you have to remember that this was like 4,000 years ago, you guys. That this stuff was a long time ago. These nations that we have now are literally built from these men that from a long time ago. Okay, from these people in the Bible. Okay, there's a domino effect of things happening here that we will never understand because God is timeless, right? He can see these things being played out through time. We can't because we're not God. Okay, so when he says to do something, you have to do it because he knows the future. I'm gonna get all into this. He knows what's gonna happen. He knows the future. He knew what these Amalekites were gonna become, and that's why he tried to stop them in their tracks. But that didn't happen, did it? Saul let them go, and that's why Saul was dethroned, right? That's when God got so mad at him. He got so mad at him because Saul didn't kill them all. He let the priest and the king and he kept some of the animals. I'm gonna get into why God was so mad about this. Okay, so the Amalekites were a group of people. If you go back, okay, when the Israelites were first leaving Egypt, they were the very first group of people that they fought. And the way in Exodus, okay, they were the very first group of people that the Israelites came in contact with. They were the Midianites and the Amalekites, okay. They were really evil. They would attack the people from the back. They would attack the weakest people first. They would do it on purpose because that's how like wicked they were, okay. They would always go for the slow people in the back, and so that was like, there was a fight with that, and Moses lifted up his arms, and he used like some kind of weird magic powers going on. I don't know. Moses had to keep his arms up to keep the Israelites fighting them because they were so strong. Okay, and there was so many of them. It just goes on and on about how many Amalekites there were and how strong they were. Okay. And then later in the Bible, okay, they don't kill them all. Okay. This was before Saul. Okay, this is the very beginning of Exodus. They were the first, remember this, they were the first ones, okay? And I'm gonna get into the rest of it later. Okay. So I'm gonna get into that right now. First, we have to go to who the Amalekites were before this. Okay? I'm gonna get into that. They weren't known as the Amalekites first. If you type in Amalekites, you're not going to find very much because just like with all these other nations, they keep changing their names and they're from other places, right? I'm going to get into that. Okay.
What's an Amalekite? Think it's some Bible stuff? Hey, yo, Black Cindy, come here. I thought this was like crazy. Look, you was raised in the church, right? I was. But like my daddy sang, so what's an Amalekite? Amalekite? Oh, they real baddies in the Bible. Attacking everybody, praying on the weak and shit. A war tribe. Ooh, and Samuel. God told Saul to kill them all. Even the babies. Even the cows. They so bad they cows had to die. Say anything about rats? No.
Okay, I had to do that because that's what we're talking about here. All right, so the Amalekites. First, to talk about the Amalekites, you gotta start back. You gotta start from the beginning. Then I'm gonna go to the future now, today. Okay, and I'm gonna go through 2 really bad reasons why God wanted to needed these people to utterly be defaced from the face of the earth, but that didn't happen. Okay, because Saul didn't listen to God. All right, so Amalekites come from Amalek, which is a descendant of Esau. Okay, Esau was from the bad bloodline. Okay, he was from the bad bloodline of Isaac. He was born with. Remember, if you look in the Bible, he was born with hair all over his body, and he was a hunter. Okay, he liked being in the woods. He liked hunting, and he had hair all over his body. And he sold his birthright. He sold his blessing from God for a bowl of soup. Okay? So this guy his bloodline was cursed. Not spiritually and physically. That's the point with this. Okay? His bloodline was cursed spiritually and physically. And he had little regard for God because he disregarded his blessing for a bowl of soup. Right? So his bloodline was cursed. The Amalekites come from his bloodline. So we're going to have Esau, who had Amalek, who started the Amalekites. And we're going to go to Haman right here. And we're going to go all the way to Hitler and the Nazis, okay, guys? I'm just going to try to paint that picture here. All right. I'm going to bring in something else that's even worse than that, but yeah, you'll see. So Esau started Amalek, which started the Amalekites, which led to Haman, because they led to the Agagites, and they got like the Agag and the Agagites, and Haman was the grandson of Haman. Okay, so the Amalekites and Haman have a direct link, but they just keep changing their names. Okay, because of language. The language keeps changing, and when they break off and start a new tribe of their own, they change the name. They usually name it after themselves. Okay. Because Amalek started Amalekites, right? Okay, the king of Agag started Agagites. Anyway, and then that led to Haman. Haman is very evil in the Bible, okay? So, we step back a little bit first. So, Amalek is a Hebrew word, okay? Not everyone spoke Hebrew back then, but the Bible's written in Hebrew, so it's called Amalek. But in a different language, it's called Luca. Luca men were real people. They are a group of people, and they were the Amaleks and the Luca people. They were related. I'm just gonna say that because it gets really complicated. All right, the Luca men and the Amalekites, were related. They were the same group of people. All right, the Luca men were pirates. They were raiding the shorelines of the Mediterranean Sea. They're really evil. They're known for picking off the dead. And all different the Hittite language, the Egyptian language. They were known for picking off the dead. They were known for attacking the weaklings. Okay, and so were the Amalekites in the Bible. I'm trying to point that they were the same people. All right, the Amalekites, they were known for picking the Israelites off the ones in the back, the weaklings, right? So, the Luca men and the Amalekites are thought to it's a theory anyway. You can't prove it, but they're thought to be the same people because Amalekite, the AM, just means men. Okay, it got changed in translation because Luca is not a Hebrew word. It's Egyptian word. Okay, all right, and then. So these Luca people, they were pirates. A lot of those people were pirates back then in the Bible. The Hittites and all them, they were pirates. That's why their god was Dagon, the demon Dagon, the sea god, right? Because they used to be pirates, and then they went on land and started some of their own colonies. Okay, And then so the Luca people became, in translation, and because they split off, became Lucia, okay? The K and the C, they get mixed up with, and they get mixed up in translation, okay? Okay, in Greek they're called Lyca. They became the Lyca, okay? Lycia, they pronounce it differently because it's in Greek now, okay? This word is very important. Lyca, okay? This Lyca is the Greek that came later from these group of people. Same group of people, same bloodline, okay? All right, so according to Jewish mysticism, okay, Jews do not believe in demons and the devil. Okay, they think it's just a metaphor for your own evil, which is kind of true, but no, demons and stuff are real. Okay, so according to Jewish mysticism, they believe this fallen angel, Samuel, he's a fallen archangel, but to them, there's no such thing. There's just angels, okay? But anyway, this Samuel, fallen archangel. Look at his attributes. I'm getting to a point with this. They believe he was assigned to Esau, okay? Like Satan assigned him to Esau, right? This kind of spirit, and he's known for being what? He's seen as a vulture or a crow. Okay, he's seen as a vulture or crow, and that means they pick on. What do vultures and crows do? They pick off the dead, right? Just like the Amalekites do. All right, they're picking off the dead. Same spirit. Okay. He's seen as a vulture or a crow. He picks off the dead. Okay. He's a fallen angel. Samuel. This is according to Jewish mysticism, okay? But they don't call him a demon because they don't believe in demons. They just call him an angel, but he's a fallen angel, okay? This is the same thing as the Valkyrie, okay? The Valkyrie demons, they do the same thing. They after the battle's done, they start picking off of the dead, okay? They start collecting souls, all right? And it's usually a woman. Valkyries are usually women, but they're the same. They work together. The same type of demon. Okay, I wanted to point that out. Okay, so you see this? I want you to think about this. Vulture picking off the dead type of demonic thinking spirit. Okay, I want you to remember the Amalekites were the very first enemy, and they're going to be our enemy to the end. Okay, this was a prediction. For as they had Saul had a chance to exterminate them, but he didn't. But in Exodus, God kind of already knew that was probably going to happen. God knows the future. God absolutely knows the future. That's why he tried to stop this from happening. Okay, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation, forever, till even to today. Okay, I'm going to point that out. Immediately throughout the whole Bible, they're still fighting with them. They killed David's first town. They go there, killing. They keep getting bigger. They become Agagites because Saul didn't kill the king of their king named Agag, right? So they became the Agagites. And then we're going to talk about Haman, and this is in the book of Esther. Okay, Haman hated the Jews. He still had that spirit with him, right? This intense hate for the Jews, okay? He convinced the king of the Persians to kill all the Jews. And they were spread out at this time. He was going to go pluck them from every country and get them all and kill them. He had a plan, and the king agreed to it. He said, sure. Luckily, though, Esther and Malachi stopped it. They convinced the king to change his mind. At the the night before it was going to happen. Before all the Jews were going to be killed. Esther convinced the king to change his mind. Okay? And instead, Haman was killed on those gallows. Haman was killed, and then, listen to this. Haman's sons were hanged, okay? 10 sons. His 10 sons were hanged. But look at what it says. He says, if it pleases the king, let tomorrow also be granted to the Jews who are in Susa to do according to the verdict of today. Let the 10 sons be hanged on the gallows tomorrow. Okay? So she said this after they were already hung. She said they're going to be hanging tomorrow. If the God willing, the king in this instance, he's talking about God. She said, if God wants, I want the next 10 sons to be hung from Haman. All right? But that just didn't make sense for a long time because they were already hung. He didn't have 20 sons. He had 10. But look. Okay. I'm going to jump into the 1800s, okay? In the 1800s, this guy, he was the Kaiser of Germany. This was before World War I. This is before World War II. There were no Nazis yet, okay? So what happened is that this guy went to go visit Jerusalem, okay? He went to go visit the Jews. This guy was responsible for World War I and II, right? He basically was like the forefather of the Nazis, okay? He was the Kaiser of Germany. He went to Jerusalem and he just like on vacation or whatever, or he was just touring countries. Okay, he's the reminder there was no Nazis yet. They didn't exist yet. The head of the Jews at the time, the rabbi, said he wouldn't meet with him because he had the spirit of he had the spirit of he had the spirit of Amalek with him. I keep trying to say Agag. No. So this was a prophecy by the Jews and in the Bible too. Okay, ready? So the prophecy was that this guy had the spirit, because they don't believe in demons, they believe in like a spirit. Okay, this guy had the spirit of the Amalekites with him, and this guy turned out to be later, 60 years later. Okay, he started World War I and II. Okay, he was responsible. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to the hanging again. So I'm trying to connect this, okay? In the book of Esther, when she says the 10 sons of tomorrow, look who they were. When the war ended, there was 11 of the head Nazi officials arrested. There was 11, okay? One of them killed himself. Okay, so there was 10. And usually they were supposed to be death by firing squad. But for some reason, they changed it at the last minute to hanging. 10 of them. This was a prophecy. The 10 sons of Haman tomorrow will be hung too. Well, crazy, right? You guys, the Amalekites they were Germans. They were evil Germans that became Nazis, okay? That's what they became. That's why God tried to kill them before it was too late. But that's why Saul got into so much trouble when he didn't. Now I'm gonna go. I'm trying to be touchy with this, but that was a long time ago. There's no more Nazis, right? No, guys. I need you to focus on the German part of it, not just the Nazi part of it, because these guys, in the Talmud, which is this was a prophecy. This was before Nazis. This was before Germany was a country. It was a prophecy in their mysticism book. Okay, it said the spirit of Malachite that they will start a new kingdom called Germania. Like, no joke. They said Germania before Germany was even founded. Okay, and they're old in their mysticism books. It's not, but that part's not in the Bible. But God did say, from generation to generation, you'll have war with Amalek. Obviously, the Amalekites they broke apart and changed their names, and they all started doing their own things. One of them worked for this Persian king, but that spirit was still with him. And I wanted to bring up those spirits, the Samuel spirit, because that's what the Amalekites were doing. They're picking off the dead. That's what the Nazis were doing. Were they picking off the dead? They took all the Jews' belongings. Remember? They took all of their belongings. They took all their rings when they were dead. They took everything. Their shoes. Remember that? They had that same vulture. Okay, that same vulture spirit, right? Okay. Okay, this is gonna get a little bit crazy. So, what does this have to do with you? Nothing, right? Now there's no more Nazis. Hitler's dead. The Nazis were conquered. The spirit of Amalek is history. No, guys. Okay. What this Operation Paperclip is just one example how this spirit never ended. It went to America, okay? There's no such thing as Nazis anymore. The spirit of Amalek is dead. No, you guys. It just like with they just keep changing names, okay? It doesn't end. Okay, if it turned to Germans to Nazis, from Haman to Amalek to Esau, right? No, they keep changing names, even though it's a generation, right? Even though it's a bloodline, they don't just stay with the same name. They keep moving all over the world, okay? But this is just an example of one of the bloodline generational curses from Esau, okay? Just one, okay? I'm going to go into another one in a second. But, okay, anyway. So the Nazis, when they broke up, some of them worked for this. They came and they moved to America. They infiltrated these Nazis into our CIA, into the NASA, into the FBI, okay? And then that's when things really started changing, right? They started changing all the rules. And this is like the fall of man, okay? Again, it's the true fall of man again. Just like God said it would be. He said, from Amalek will be with you from generation to generation. Are they called Amalek still? No, of course not. How stupid do you think Satan is? Like, well, we're just going to keep calling him Amalek from forever. They weren't even called Amalek from the beginning. It was Esau, right? Okay, so also another scary... I'm not picking on the Germans, you guys. It's everywhere. It went everywhere, okay? I'm just trying to get you guys to think in this direction. When the Bible tells you to do something, you got to do it. When God knew all this was going to happen. My point is, God knew all this was going to happen. He tries to tell you in the Bible it was going to happen. And that's why he tried to stop it. He had one chance to stop it with King Saul. And he didn't do it. And you wonder why he got so mad. He could have stopped all this domino effect, right? Nope. And I'm going to get to the animals in a second. Okay, this is just the people and the kings that he let go. All right? I'm going to get into some out there stuff next. But the spirit of Amalek he's there. It's the first enemy and it's our last enemy. Okay? It's our first enemy and it's our last enemy. The spirit of Amalek will always be with us. Okay? It's going to keep going. Okay? Sorry. I had to restart. The FBI uses codexes, code breakers to, they use these programs to decode, like, everything from Egyptian stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the FBI. I'm talking about some people use these codexes to break through old languages to see what they mean in English. Okay? Obviously, the Bible is in English, but they're trying to do it a different way to see what they would get. Okay? So, the FBI uses codexes to break terrorist codes. Okay? So, these codexes are real things that people used. Okay? So, there's a codex made for the Bible, and guess what you get? This is complicated, but basically, Amalek. These words keep coming out in Hebrew, English from Hebrew to English. Okay, this is the codes that come out. Okay. Amalek, mischief, sorcery, iniquity, divination, swastika, magic, Nazi, Amalek. Samuel, right? He's that demon, right? Amalek. Lilith. Lilith was the mother of Esau, okay? It just goes, that just keeps coming. It's like black, they keep getting black magic, swastika, Nazi, Amalek, divination, evil, okay? This is going to be the next one. Sorcery, Satan, iniquity, dog, Amalek, Germany, Satan, Germany, Amalek, okay? No joke, this is what's coming out of these codes, okay? Believe it or not, if you want to believe it or not, you want to think it's a hoax or something, go ahead. But that's what these code breakers are saying. That's what these programs are spitting out, all right? Just a coincidence? Sure. Also, another thing I wanted to point out, I forgot to mention, with that one of Haman's sons, his 10 sons, in Hebrew, okay, his name was in Hebrew, but it had some weird lettering in it. And those letters transferred it into numbers. And the numbers were 1946, okay? In 1946, those men were hung. I forgot to mention that. Just a coincidence, right? The Bible's not real. It doesn't have prophecies in it. Yes, it does, okay? That literally gave the date that that man was hung, that the next men were going to be hung. 1946 was the number next to his name in Hebrew. No joke. All right, I'm gonna have to make another video because it got long, but I'm gonna do another Amalek kind of curse from Esau. Okay, this is all right. So, and it's gonna come into these codexes too. All right.